Hello everyone, welcome to the demo of Red Lilies. Now this was developed and published by Krispy Cat, and you might remember the name because they are the ones responsible for making the visual novel Warm. I'm not sure if you remember that, but I did play that some time ago. So yeah, anyways, this is going to be a little bit different from their usual stuff. This is going to be a horror themed one. And I am unfortunately late. It is November. I am 2 days late from Halloween. So, that's bad on my part. Anyways, let's go ahead and start the demo. I sit in the dark, my hands pressed tight over my mouth to muffle my own breathing. My heart pounds loudly, too loud for me to think. And I silently beg for it to be quiet. Outside my door, I hear footsteps, and they soon pause. Irene? I press my back further against the wall, hands firmly on my mouth. I catch a whiff of the still wet blood on my fingers and resist the urge to cry out. Don't move. Don't move. Don't even breathe. The knock on my door may as well be cannon fire. Irene? Won't you come out? I just want to speak with you. Don't move. Irene, we won't hurt you. Just come out, won't you? Don't move. Then there's a scream of frustration and knocking. Irene? Irene! I can hear the knocking getting louder, persistent, punctuated by shouting. Irene, come out! Open the door! Irene! Irene, I know you're in there! As I sit in the dark, hearing the screams, the ceaseless knocking, smelling the blood on my hands, I ask myself, how did it even come to this? Where did things all go so wrong? Well, that was a very strong start. The carriage hits a bump, and I adjust my bag in my lap. Apart from this minor bumpiness, my trip has been very smooth. At first I was surprised when the carriage moved from the cobblestone streets and onto dirt roads that took me through expansive countryside, and the ride remained the same. But then I looked out and saw how well worn and smooth the roads really were, no doubt from all the carriages and travelers. I'm traveling somewhere quite far. My parents are sending me out to school to be an elegant and refined young lady. None of the schools in London were acceptable enough, or so they said. They wanted me to be out in the country, with fresh air and sunshine, flowers, mountains, and trees, not the smog and smoke that could ruin a young lady's lungs. That's what happened to a neighbor's daughter. She simply took ill one day and cannot seem to recover. Yet another reason to be sent out here. We're nearly there, miss. The driver's voice cuts through my reverie sharply. I crane my head to see him, though of course I cannot. Thank you, sir. I return my attention to the outside of the carriage. Fields, flowers, and streams pass by. I hear birds chirping, the rustle of grass as bunnies scamper through. It's a lovely place for a school. For anything, really. Soon my carriage passes by a gentleman in his own carriage. I briefly see that he's very finely dressed, though his face looks a bit stern. Maybe he's the father of one of my new schoolmates. Hello, sir. I lift a hand to wave at him. He briefly looks at me, and then with a small gesture, the curtains in his window close. Oh, maybe I offended him? Perhaps my greeting wasn't ladylike enough, or perhaps he just wanted to be left alone. My carriage pulls ahead, and we leave the gentleman behind. I stare up towards the school in awe, holding my bag tightly. Behind me, the carriage driver removes the last of my suitcases and sets them on the ground behind me. Lady Lilianne's Academy for Proper Young Women. Something of a mouthful, but all the best establishments have long, complicated names. That's how you know they're respectable. Indeed. At least that's what my father always says. The doors open and a woman comes out. My breath catches when I see her, my heart pounds. She looks so refined and elegant. I have no doubts that this is the headmistress. But how odd. She's younger than I expected she'd be. She must be quite amazing. I'll take it from here, sir. Of course. Good luck, miss. The driver's second comment is directed at me. I quickly turn to curtsy at him to say my thanks, but he's already leaving. This leaves me alone with the beautiful headmistress. I'm a bit dizzy still, but I quickly turn back towards her and curtsy again. I especially have to remember my manners to her. So, I assume the one on the right is the headmistress, that is obviously us on the left. She does look quite refined. She reminds me a little bit of Lily from Katawa Shoujo. It's nice to be here, ma'am. Thank you for accepting me. Oh. But to my surprise, the headmistress seems startled by my greeting. Oh. Oh no, I'm not the headmistress. You're not? Oh. Huh? My name is Lucy. Miss Cooper has asked me to show you around and assist you on your first day here. Oh. Well, that must be embarrassing. I feel my face growing hot. I hope I didn't imply that she looked old. But as if she's read my mind, Lucy just giggles. Don't worry, I took it as a compliment. I hope the trip wasn't too boring for you. I read a book the first hour or two, and then I admired the view from the window. Very good. I'm glad you know how to occupy your time. Lucy turns towards the gates. Shall we go inside? The place looks quite comforting. I bet those couches are really soft. A maid takes my bag from my hands as we enter. Others move outside to bring in my luggage. Lucy pays them no mind, instead happily leading me to the sitting room. She moves so quickly, I barely have time to properly look around my new home. I hurry to keep up with her as Lucy walks at a brisk pace. It's Saturday, so we have no lessons today. Everyone is free to do whatever they please today. Well, within reason, of course. It turns me wondering if someone has done something improper or dangerous before, because of the whatever they please. I'm sure you'd like to see the dorms first, but then again, you also seem like you might like books. I wonder where I should take. Ah, Lucy, I see you're already acquainting yourself. Ah, there's the headmistress. Another woman appears. Ah, this is the headmistress for sure. Now I feel even more foolish for mistaking Lucy for her. Lucy smiles, clasping her hands together and nodding. Yes, Miss Cooper. I was just about to take her on a tour of the school. So you know our new student's name then? Lucy visibly falters as she realizes that while she introduced herself, she hasn't got my name yet. Immediately she sighs, and the elegant and confident girl is replaced by an apologetic, wilted one. No, I apologize, Miss Cooper. How rude and disrespectful. You're young Lady Liliane's, Lucy. You You represent the school and myself. I expect you to know better than this. It's alright, really, Miss Cooper. I use her name, hoping it will help pacify her. Lucy was just so excited to have me here and was telling me so much about your school that it didn't come up yet. She was going to ask for my name after she told me about Lady Liliane's. Lucy sends me a grateful look that Miss Cooper doesn't seem to catch. Be that as it may. Miss Cooper clears her throat then, shaking her head. I feel as if I've distracted her somehow. As I intended to say to you, welcome to our school, Miss Irene. We at Lady Liliane's Academy for Proper Young Women have always turned out elegant, refined young women for centuries. We have a proud and honorable history, though I'm sure you're aware of it already. Yes, Miss Cooper. That is precisely why my parents chose it. Very good. Then you know that we've taught numerous high-standing ladies, 1 princess, 3 duchesses, and 2 young countesses, and those who were not nobility coming in were able to mingle among them coming out. Yes. You'll learn a great deal here. The arts, how to act in high society, how to be an intelligent and interesting woman while also remaining demure. We have a very high standards here, and I fully expect you to meet every one of them. Miss Cooper's tone is both stuffy and grand, as if she's speaking before the king's court rather than a new student. Behind Miss Cooper, Lucy is biting her cheek. She looks as if she wants to laugh. Let's see. I guess smiling back at her won't hurt. I smile at her. A secret seems to pass between us, and Lucy lights up even more. She hides a silent giggle behind her back. Yes, Miss Cooper, I won't let you down. I'll hold you to that, Miss Irene. Miss Lucy. She returns to Lucy, who immediately composes herself. Feel free to take Miss Irene on that tour now. Yes, Miss Cooper. Follow me, please, Irene. Lucy leads me down a hallway. There are some heavy-looking doors and large windows that give an incredible view. I can hear faint voices on the other side of some of the doors, and faint laughter from the outside. There are several paintings on the walls, of varying quality, if I may say so, in the vase of violets sitting on a nearby table. As I'm slowly taking all my surroundings, Lucy speaks about the school. Miss Cooper wasn't exaggerating. Lady Liliane's was the home and the school of many important and famous young ladies. I don't think we have many princes here currently, but... Her voice drops conspiratorially. There's rumors that we do have a young countess here. You might be able to befriend her. How exciting! I laugh. Actually, I hope to befriend everyone. How ambitious. Before I go further, is there anything you're curious about? We have a library, a garden. Oh! Let's see. Library. Maybe the library will do. Let's see there. Is there a library? Oh, of course. Lucy smiles, holding herself taller. What self-respecting school wouldn't have a library? And we have all sorts of books, from current releases to centuries in the past. We even have some translations of books from across the sea, written hundreds of years ago. Quite fascinating, really. What genre do you like to read? Depends on the story more than the genre, really. Then you're sure to find something you like in the library. Lucy smiles and turns. Come, I'll show you. The library is very quiet when Lucy brings me in, as expected. Let's see, this looks like a library that I've been to somewhat. Or maybe the ones I've been when I went to high school. Still, there's a lot of liveliness, a sort of quiet energy. It's the kind of atmosphere I've always liked in libraries. There are several girls seated at tables or curled comfortably on couches, the only sound being the turning of pages or the occasional whisper. From a far corner, I hear a giggle as someone reads something amusing. Lucy smiles as she walks me further in, taking note of the way I'm looking everywhere I can. I see you like our humble library. Humble? This is incredible. Looks so comfortable and homey. The other libraries I've seen look so important and stuffy. I was always afraid to touch the books. Lucy laughs. Well, here you may touch any book you like. Quite the selection of... Ah, Lucy, could you come here? Oh, yes, one moment. Lucy turns towards me, smiling sheepishly. I'll be right back. Feel free to look around. And then she walks over to one of the tables. I take her up on her offer, approaching one of the shelves and then walking along it. My fingers trail the titles of the books. Some of them are familiar, others I have never heard of before. I seem to be in the mythology section. There's lots of titles I don't recognize. Stories from other parts of the world and other cultures. Normally, if I've only heard stories from Greek mythology, I hardly know where to even start. The sound of paper rustling catches my attention. I turn and there's another girl sitting at a nearby table. Her dark eyes briefly flit up from her book to my face. Oh. Let's see. Do we want to be bothering her? Let's ask what she's reading. The girl closes her book, keeping her place with a finger, and holds it up. I read the title. Carmilla? Or Carmilla? Irene! Lucy returns at that moment, looking pleased. I see you've already made a new friend. How wonderful. Oh, And Camellia, I'm truly glad to see you reaching out to more of your fellow students. I hope the two of you can be good friends. Camellia looks a bit awkward. Not a talkative one. I smile at her, hoping to relieve some of her nerves. There's been a slight misunderstanding, I suppose, but it doesn't have to be. We can be friends. After a moment, Camellia nods at me, and her anxious expression melts into a smile. Camellia, I have to take Irene to finish her tour. She will see you at mealtime. Yes, Lucy. Camellia returns to her book, but sends me a pleasant smile over the top of it. It was lovely to meet you, Irene. Likewise. I find myself looking back at Camellia as Lucy leads me away. Camellia has turned her attention back to her book, but even from this distance, I can see the smile on her lips. She pushes her glasses back up her nose with one finger as she turns the page of her book. I wish I could have asked for more about what she was reading. Maybe I will later. Lucy and I leave the library and continue down another hall. Lucy never loses her smile. Really, I am pleased to see you making a friend already. Camellia is quite sweet, but so painfully shy. She spends so much time in the library with those books. I usually only see her at mealtimes and during class. She seemed quite friendly to me. Indeed. I've never seen her warm up so quickly. She must like you. Well, conversation aside, I'm not sure I'd say warming up. But Lucy does know everyone here better than I do. I realize that the hall we're walking down is slowly growing brighter and brighter. The view outside transitions to flowers and trees, and the excited voices grow louder. Are we? Lucy answers my asked question. Yes, we're going to the gardens. That little scuffle outside seems to finally be... Lucy! The shout startles me, but Lucy only winces as we step outside and into the bright sun. She sighs, shoulders slumping. Oh dear. I can never go anywhere without someone calling me, can I? They sounded upset. Why if something's wrong? But before I can fret too much, two girls run up. They both seem perfectly alright, though angry. The girl with the red hair is kicking a ball along in front of her as she runs to us, and the other girl looks ready to box her ears. Both of them have bits of grass sticking to their skirts, but the redhead skirts have more grass stains. The brunette speaks first. Lucy, Maggie kicked her ball right into my tea party. It wasn't my fault. Hazel's tea party was too close to my game. Well, at least it's not something worse. Hazel huffs and fiercely returns towards the girl with the ball. You kicked it towards me deliberately, and you know it. And you know that I always kick the ball here in the garden. If you set up your tea parties here, it's your own fault. Lucy just sighs. You two have this argument every week. Because Maggie never corrects her behavior. Honestly, look at you. She glares at Maggie. Laundry day is every Friday, but do those grass stains ever come out of her skirt? Of course not. Because you seem utterly determined to keep messing up your dress. Maggie jumps back as if burned, and she quickly runs a hand over her skirt, shaking some grass loose. Then she seems to recollect herself and blow a stream of air up towards her bangs. I keep telling you, you ought to move those parties. Besides, nobody's even hurt. For God's sake, nobody can be hurt. Look. She swings her arm out towards the spot of grass a few feet away from the gazebo. There, on a pink picnic blanket, is a tea set surrounded by teddy bears and assorted clothing and hats. You only take tea with those teddies. How dare you? They are my honored guests and I think the gazebo would be good for tea parties. I think the grassy area is a bit too chaotic for a tea party, especially with Maggie playing around it. The two girls suddenly stop, staring at me as if they've only just noticed I was there. Maggie recovers first, puffing her chest out. See, even the new girl agrees with me. She does not. She asked a question. She isn't agreeing with you. Hazel turns her fire gaze towards me. You have no business butting in, Lucy clears her throat. Maggie, Hazel, this is Irene. She's a newcomer to our wonderful school. The word wonderful. She looks pointedly at the two girls. I misread that sentence. Oops, my bad. Our wonderful school that teaches proper and elegant young ladies who would never let such childish squabbles make them forget themselves in front of others. My apologies, Lucy. Yeah, sorry. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your new classmates and introduce yourselves properly. The girls turned their gazes towards me. Despite their animosity earlier, they do genuinely look apologetic and upset with themselves. Sorry you had to see that. I'm Maggie. I'm sorry you had to hear me shouting. I'm Hazel. My name is Irene. It's nice to meet both of you. I'm sure we can just forget all about this and move on as if nothing happened. I think it's missing the name box. Yeah, that sounds great. You never saw me kick the ball into Hazel's plate of biscuits. Aha, so you did do that deliberately. The bell chimes above and Maggie laughs. I'm saved. And without another word, she runs past Lucy and I and into the school. Hey, wait, I'm not finished with you. Hazel pursues her, just as single-minded. Those two. Well, Irene, that's the call for supper. Shall we go inside? Yes. Lucy and I join the crowd of girls streaming into the dining room. A few of them look my way, curiosity in their eyes, but most of them don't even give me a second look. That's alright, I expected as much. It is a weekend, and nobody is obligated to meet me until class tomorrow. My meeting Camellia, Maggie, and Hazel was simply by chance. A very happy chance, mind, but still. Lucy sees me looking at my schoolmates and mistakes my pensiveness for sadness. She pats me on the shoulder. Don't worry, you'll introduce yourself to everyone properly tomorrow. Yes, of course. The other girls are all finding seats, putting napkins in the plates. Some girls pull out chairs with their friends. Lucy guides me towards the two chairs in particular, before I can sit. Yona! A sudden high-pitched voice cuts above the hum of chatter around us. I look across the room, and among the crowd I see a maid and a younger girl latching onto her. The maid is doing her best to finish setting the table, but the other girl has no interest in releasing her. She holds on tightly, occasionally leaning her whole body back in an attempt to tug at the maid's arm. The plates and silverware shit dangerously, but the girl doesn't seem to notice. Or if she doesn't care. Yona, remember I need my favorite spoon? Yona, you're not giving it to anyone else, right? Yona! I hope I'm saying that name right. If I'm not, I truly do apologize. The maid sighs but doesn't respond. I see her carefully try to free herself without pushing the girl away, but the other girl clings tight. Yona! Yona! The other girls are ignoring the scene. One or two glances the maid's way and shakes her head, but nobody steps in. Maybe I can do something. I could urge the girl to leave her alone, but I'm not terribly good at being authoritative. Maybe I could distract her instead. As if I'm considering my options, I approach the pair. They don't notice me at first, but when I draw closer and clear my throat, the maid's eyes move towards me and the girl stares my way. What? Pardon me, but... Let's see... What do I do? Second one? You should really let her finish her work. I'm sure she can't do much with you hanging off her like that. The girl pouts up at me. I'm not doing anything. But I'm sure it must be very difficult for her to set the table with you hanging off of her. You can talk to her later. The girl sulks but lets go. The maid, Iona, sends me a small smile. I have your favorite spoon, Miss Amanda. You'll get it. Yay! Come on, let's go to the table. I walk with Amanda back to where Lucy is waiting. She has a chair pulled out for me. Her smile brightens when she sees me with Amanda. My. Another friend so soon? Irene, you're certainly popular today. Oh, I'm not sure about that. Oh, she's Irene. Amanda turns towards me, dropping into a clumsy curtsy. Nice to meet ya. If you need someone besides Lucy to help show you around, I'm always there. Amanda puts a hand on her chest, beaming with pride. I may be small, but I'm a proper and elegant young woman. Isn't that right, Lucy? Lucy giggles and whispers to me. Amanda got school last week for behaving improperly. She was playing on the ladder of the library. Oh, I see. Hey, I hear you two whispering. It's about me, Lucy. You of all people know that not to gossip in front of others. I'm sorry, Amanda. You're right. I'm an elegant young lady and I refuse to be mocked. Right, Irene? Let's see. We're all elegant. Stay neutral. We're all elegant ladies here, Amanda. Well, not all of us. Amanda gives her another surly look, but says nothing. Instead, she takes a seat beside me. Slowly, the other 3 girls I met approach the table as well. Hazel, Maggie, and Camellia all pull out chairs of their own and sit around me, as natural as it can be. I still glance over at Lucy and spot a faint smile on her lips. Well, I did have a bit of a rapport with the other girls. I don't know if all of them would seek me out on their own. I wonder if Lucy has something to do with this. Amanda leans over and confirms my suspicions. This morning, Lucy told us a new girl is coming and we all had to be nice. She smiles. Are we nice so far? My weight lifts off my chest. I still feel a little embarrassed, hearing that Lucy told the girls to be nice. It makes me feel a bit like a child. But I'm happy, despite that. I was admittedly worried about being alone on my first day here. Yes, you're very nice. Alright, everyone. Miss Cooper's voice rises above the chatter. She claps her hands sharply. Immediately, everyone settles down. Even Amanda is as silent as a mouse. Today we welcome our newest student, Irene. I expect all of you to treat her as befitting an elegant young lady. Yes, ma'am. And that's it. I'm not asked to introduce myself formally, and nobody asked my questions. Instead, the maids step forward to start serving our food. Immediately, the talk picks back up as if nothing had happened. The maids are ignored as they silently prepare everyone's plates. Nobody pays them a glance or even speaks to them. Strange. Father and mother would acknowledge our staff at the very least. Suddenly, an arm comes into view, and I look up to see the fair-haired maid from earlier, Iona. Her eyes dart towards me for a moment before she looks back at my plate, setting chicken and greens onto it. Thank you, Iona. Lucy clears her throat delicately as she sips her water. Irene, a proper lady doesn't address the staff unless she must. Huh? But Iona doesn't need thanks, because she's simply doing her job. You don't have to say a word to her. But back home, I'm sorry to say, Irene, but your home and the Lady Lilianes are quite different. Ah, indeed. Indubitably. Iona moves back then, and goes to the new girl. Nobody else thanks her. Although in Camellia's case I suppose it makes sense. She's brought her book to the dining table with her, and is still quite absorbed in it. Lucy has to tap her on the shoulder to prompt her to put the book down. But I look back at Iona. I feel sorry for her. She looks only just older than me. She could have easily been one of my schoolmates. What if I treated one of them like that? Amanda, don't laugh while your mouth is full. I'm sorry, Maggie said something funny. Lloyd's boisterous conversation pulls me from my reverie, and I begin to eat. The meal passes without further incident. It's as peaceful as a meal with a few dozen girls could be. Lots of conversation down at tables, the occasional sharp giggle. I don't speak much myself, I still feel too new. When I feel more comfortable in my new home, then I'll engage more, I'm sure of it. And the food itself is, well, it's delicious. Admittedly, part of why I don't speak is because I'm too busy enjoying the meal. Our early supper finishes just before the sun begins to set. A few minutes spent talking rather than eating, Miss Cooper stands up. Apparently this is a signal, as the maids step forward and begin gathering our dishes. Iona is not among them. The other girls all jump up and leave, while Lucy pulls me to one side. Irene, I do hope that you aren't upset at me. Huh? for scolding you in front of the others. I had a feeling I might have hurt your feelings. Trust me, that was not my intention. Oh. I know, I'm not angry. Are you sure? You can be honest with me. Really, I'm not. Lucy sighs, relieved. Thank goodness. Lucy? Oh, Miss Kira wants to speak with me. You don't have to wait for me. I'll go to my room, I think. Alright, I'll come to collect you later. The other girls have already scattered, probably back to their own rooms, so the halls are empty when I leave the dining room. It feels larger, emptier now, but I like it. It gives me a fond feeling in my chest, one I can't describe. One day I was brought to an art museum. It was early in the day and all had been quiet. I left my parents, walked out towards another wing that wasn't fully finished yet. It had been only me, and all these amazing pieces. And it felt like I was the only living being in the world. And I could have happily spent the entire day there. That's the feeling that fills my heart now, as I walk the halls. But then something catches my eye as I prepare to turn the corner. Huh? The maid from before, Iona, stands at one of the windows, gently polishing the glass. Hi, Iona. I can faintly hear her humming to herself as she works. I step away from the corner and close to her. She doesn't see me yet. She seems to be too focused on her work. Oh, wait. No, she must be daydreaming. Just saw a distant look in her eye, a small smile. She's most certainly daydreaming. Suddenly she notices me, and something has tapped her on the shoulder and pointed me out. She nearly drops her cleaning cloth. Oh my, I apologize. Am I bothering you? Oh, no, you're not. I blurt the words out, too fast and too sharp. I mean, you're not. An awkward silence passes between us, as neither of us seems sure what to say. It was wrong for me to walk away and leave her, but she seems unsure if she should return to cleaning and ignoring me. Finally, I break the silence. The song you were humming was lovely. I don't recognize the tune. Oh, I made it up as I went along. It's just nonsensical notes. It still sounded lovely. Are you a singer? Iona chuckles, and her laugh sounds as lovely as her voice. No, I'm afraid not. I did used to sing with my church choir before I came here, and I would lead in the school song when I was still a student. A student? You're a student here? Iona's smile looks a bit wistful now. Once. Not anymore. May I ask about it? If it doesn't bring up unpleasant memories. Iona chuckles. It's not as dramatic as I'm sure you're thinking. I was a student here until I was 16, but 2 years ago my family lost their money, and I had nowhere to go. I feel my heart go out to Iona. Despite the simple and straightforward explanation, I read about similar things happening. Miss Cooper, knowing that I had no home or family to return to, allowed me to stay here as a maid. Of course, I could no longer attend lessons, or keep my room. It's not terribly bad working here. I could have it worse. Is that why Amanda addressed you by name? Were you her friend? No. Miss Amanda came to school after all of that. She simply asked for my name before Miss Lucy could stop her. Iona laughs again, soft and wistful, and her expression shifts. She seems tired all of a sudden. Miss Lucy was the only one I knew well as a student. Lucy and Iona were friends, and Lucy has no trouble ignoring her, treating her like she's just thin air. The knowledge almost knocks me over. Lucy had seemed so kind when she came to greet me. How can she treat a friend like this? I'm sorry. Don't be. Yuna picks up the cloth and goes back to her work. It is what it is. It's still unfair to you, isn't it? Irene! Lucy's voice reaches my ears. I turn just in time to see her hurrying up to me. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Her eyes move past me towards Iona. I take a quick look back and see that Iona has fully returned to her cleaning, as if our conversation never happened. Lucy looks back to me again. Come, let's get you to your room and you can rest up a bit. As we leave, I turn back to wave farewell to Iona. I'm not sure if she sees. On the way to my new room, Lucy had pointed out several other rooms in the hallways. There's a little time to go in, she explained. Irritated, she had said that breaking up an argument earlier had taken some precious time from our schedule. That's quite alright. We'll just show you everything else tomorrow. There's plenty of time for us. My room is very comfortable looking, but rather, well, empty in its own way. That changes as I start unpacking, of course. I take my favorite books and set them on a nearby shelf, my favorite pillow from home to sit on my chair, a few decorative items, I pull the blankets out from where they've been tucked too tight into the bed to make it more lived in. Outside, the sun sinks lower and lower. I see the beginnings of stars appear in the twilight sky. Finally, I have only 4 things left to unpack. I look around my room, my eyes landing on a fireplace. I can put one of those things on the mantle, something that speaks to me, something that truly makes this room my own. But what to put there? Oh, I can choose! Let's see. Jewelry box might be a bit too important. Maybe the journal. Journal seems fitting. I reach into my suitcase and pull out my journal. Lovingly, I brush my hand over the cover. I've had this since I was 14. I've only filled it halfway. That's mostly on purpose. It saddens me to think I'll have reached the last page someday. We'll need a new one. I'm just putting the other 3 items on the table in the corner when there's a knock at my door. Hello? Oh, Maggie. I heard the door and greet her. Good evening. Maggie grins at me, looking like she's here for something important. Hey, just wanna check in. You finished packing? Do you have much more to go? She looks past me and towards my trunk and suitcase. I just shake my head. No, I just finished. The suitcase is empty. Like my soul. Oh. Huh? It's not that I read in a book once. That was funny. Anyways, the girls and I were wondering if you wanted to join us in the library. We should like to meet there and socialize before bedtime. Well, I did want to spend more time getting to know my schoolmates. The library's emptier this time, and quieter. Quite likely everyone is in the rooms already. Maggie leads me to a table where Hazel, Camellia, and Amanda are already gathered. A short distance away I can see Iona dusting a table, and Lucy perusing a shelf of books. Iona smiles warmly at me before departing. Hey, I brought Irene! Yes, Maggie, we have functioning eyes and we can all see that. Don't fight, you two. Yeah, we're supposed to be welcoming Irene. Don't worry, I feel quite welcome. I take an empty seat at the table as Maggie takes the other. Oddly, she sits by Hazel. I thought they'd be far, far away from each other. Camellia seems to notice my confusion as she lowers her voice so that only I can hear. Hazel and Maggie often stay close together. They may fight, but if nothing else, they're loyal. Oh, I see. You know, Irene, we didn't get much time to talk to you earlier. Yep, and a proper lady always asks things like, how was your trip? A man looks around the table as if she's checking everyone's reactions. Nobody praises her. She pauses for moments, then turns to me. How was the trip well? Hey, Saul. I laugh. It was fine. Very smooth, very quiet. I only saw one other person once we left the city. Maybe someone's father? Technically, every man could be someone's father. She knew what she meant. Camilla adjusts her glasses. I don't think so, Irene. All of our families live very far from the school. If one of our fathers were visiting, we would have been informed. Not to mention there's nowhere for him to stay. There aren't many inns for miles. Oh. I wonder where he was going then. Never mind that. What did he look like? Hazel grins, leaning forward with her elbows on the table and her fingers tended over her mouth. Did he look wealthy? Like husband material? Was he handsome? Ugh. He looked... Let's see... a little handsome. He looked intimidating. Honestly, he seemed a bit intimidating. Intimidating? How so? There's a sharpness and a coldness about him. Can't quite describe it. And when I tried to say hello, he shut the curtain on me. How rude. Camilla just hums. Maggie slaps her hand on the table. Let's change the subject. She leans forward. Listen, autumn is here. The nights are getting cooler. Girls want to talk about some scary stories. Before anyone can respond, I hear a book shoved hard on the shelf with a loud thump. Oh, really, Maggie? We turn towards Lucy, frowns disapprovingly at us. She places her hands on her hips, shaking her head. I've told you about those stories and why you need to stop. It's all just for fun, Lucy. Lighten up a little. Certainly not. I won't hear of such unladylike nonsense. She struts off before any of us can stop her. Amanda and Hazel look uncomfortably at her. Camilla seems resigned, and Maggie sticks her tongue out at Lucy's retreating back. Spoiled sport. What do you think, Irene? Want to listen to a ghost story? Sure, why not? I like Maggie. Why not? I love stories, and scary ones are no exception. I look around the table with a smile. I've actually just finished reading the most interesting book by Shelley. Oh, I was thinking Frankenstein, but that's Mary Shelley. Maybe she was saying the last name first. Who knows? Oh, wait, hold on. I haven't read it yet. Camilla looks and sounds so distressed that I can't help but laugh. Oh, so sorry, Camilla. I'll let you read it. With the ripple laughter pass on the table, Maggie turns her attention to Camilla. So, you read a lot, and you've told stories before. Do you know a good scary one? I do know several, yes. But there's one in particular I'm thinking of tonight. Once there lived a cruel man who never had enough wealth. Every year he would move to a new city, start a new life, and have a new name. And every year he would take a bride from a rich family. Once the wedding was done and he had her dowry, he would bring her to his home and chop her to pieces with an axe. Then he would take the ring from her finger and keep it for the next girl. 12 years he did this, but on the 12th bride, he could not find the finger on which she wore her ring. Resigned, he instead purchased a new one and moved on. He met a beautiful woman in this new city. He quickly got permission to marry her. On the wedding night, his fair and radiant bride smiled at him and said, "In my family, it is a tradition to tell a story during our first night as a wedded couple." Charmed and delighted by this little quirk, he agreed. Once upon a time, there was a man who married a woman in a neighboring city. The man was rich and the woman was rich, but he wanted her riches instead. My love, this story sounds frightening. It is only a story, my darling, she said. So on their wedding night, he took her dowry and took her to his home, and then he took down the axe. My love, please silence yourself. It is only a story, my darling. The woman was fell to pieces and buried under the floor. He cannot find her finger, and he cannot find her ring. Well, here's that finger and here's that ring. I see. Hey! Amanda shrieks and leaps into Hazel, clutching her midsection tightly. That was too much. Maggie laughs. Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad. Shame on you, Maggie. Hazel's hand rests on Amanda's head. How would you like if this were you? You mean how would I like to be hugged by you? Be quiet. Camellia, you ought to have told something a little less morbid. Camellia just hums nonchalantly. Oh, her glasses have done the anime thingy. It's all lit up. Let's see. Well, it was scary. Well, we did say scary stories, and Camellia did deliver as promised. Maggie huffs. Yeah, what were y'all expecting? Something that's just fluff? Camellia hums a little, tapping her fingers on the table. I'm sorry. I didn't think it would frighten you that much, Amanda. I'm okay. You won't have nightmares, will you? I shouldn't, but I'll keep a light on in my room just in case. Amanda, you're such a baby. Come now, let's stop fighting about this. The five of us look up to see Miss Cooper standing over us, a pinched expression on her face. You girls should all be heading to bed now, not telling such troubling stories. We all wince. Did someone overhear us? Especially you, Miss Irene. I understand you're new here, but you're a student of Lady Lilianne's now. You have a lofty standard to hold yourself to. Yes, ma'am. Now, all of you, to bed. We quickly rise from our chairs and leave the library. The halls are empty as we head out together. Feeling Miss Cooper's glitter at our backs, we don't even bother saying goodnight as we all head to our rooms and go to sleep. My room looks so dark. Everything looks murkier, black spots and shapes swimming before my eyes. It's as if I'm sinking into one of those mires my old teachers warned me about. Suffocating, deep, dark and cold. This can't be right. Something isn't right. My room can't look like this. I struggle to sit up. I'm so slow I move as my bones are made of stone. My head swims. When the shadows in front of me starts to move closer, taking shape. My head starts to beat faster. I don't want to watch, but I cannot look away. Are you having some sleep paralysis, Irene? Twin red glows appear in the blackness, and an icy hand rests upon my throat. I wake in the middle of the night with a start, my heart beating like a hammer. My chest feels heavy and sweat dampens my brow. I haven't had nightmares this bad since I was a child. Maybe Camelia's story affected me more than I thought. I'm sinking back down to bed when... creak. I stiffen, listening intently. It's a silly thought, but I can't help but think. Perhaps my dream wasn't really a dream after all. Quietly, slowly, I get out of bed and move to the door. The hallway is dark and empty when I peer out. No lights visible from under the other doors. Everyone else must still be asleep. I feel foolish as soon as I think that. Of course everyone is still asleep. It's so late. But if everyone's asleep, what is that noise? I hear my heart beating fast in my ears. My throat dries. A cold chill runs up the back of my spine, up my neck, and into my scalp. I shouldn't have gotten out of bed. I should have pretended to be asleep. Whatever's here, whatever is making that creaking sound, I'm sure it knows I'm awake. That was why I dreamed of what I did. It was there. It saw me. It knows. I shouldn't have moved. What are you doing out of bed? With the scream, I turned to see. Oh, it's Miss Cooper. Miss Cooper standing in the hall. Shame fills my heart as she frowns, looking down at her nose at me. Wandering the halls at night and in your nightdress. I know you have better manners than that, young lady. I'm sorry, I had a nightmare and I heard something. Now that I say it out loud, it sounds ridiculous, especially in front of the headmistress. Her glare intensifies and I shrink in front of her. I'm sorry, but I heard a creaking and I thought, I heard no such thing. Miss Cooper's tone is sharp. Can't help but wince. See my reaction? Miss Cooper sighs. Miss Irene, I believe you simply heard the building settling. Settling? This is an old school. Very old. At night it makes odd sounds. Surely you have heard such things yourself in your own home? Well, no, actually. I never noticed any odd sounds. But that means I must have been used to it. I feel even sillier now, my face flushing. You're in a new place. You're unfamiliar with your surroundings. You're going to notice things you didn't in your old home. It's understandable. We can't wander the halls after bed. Young ladies need their sleep, and we have classes tomorrow. Return to bed immediately. Yes, ma'am. With that, I quietly retreat back into my room. It looks a bit brighter than my conversation with Miss Cooper. Perhaps because I'm not afraid when I woke up. With a heavy sigh and feeling quite foolish, I crawl back under the covers. Close my eyes to sleep, and I do not have any more nightmares. The next morning, my nightmare is nearly forgotten. I rise and dress, making myself presentable as I clean my face and comb my hair. Lucy had promised to see me at my door and bring me to breakfast, so I step outside to meet her. She's not here yet. But then it's awfully quiet. Perhaps I've woken up early. That does happen when I'm nervous, and being in a new environment would make anybody nervous. Stand outside my door, wait a few moments longer. Slowly I hear the sounds and movement from the other rooms. Everyone else is rising and dressing. It's so strange not having church bells or criers to wake me up in the mornings. I'll have to train myself to wake up regularly. Miss Irene? I turn and see Iona standing nearby. She dressed a pin in her hair, having apparently just started her day. Is something wrong? I'm just waiting for Lucy. She said she would bring me to the dining room today. Iona frowns. Miss Lucy is usually awake by now. Follow me, please. The two of us go to one of the many doors in the hallway. Raise a hand and gently rap my knuckles against the wood. Lucy, are you awake? Silence. Lucy? Other girls start to appear behind us. That's weird. Maybe she's the one waking me up. I knock again. Lucy? Silence. Maybe she's ill. Should I go in? Lucy, I'm coming inside, alright? Without waiting for an answer, I turn the knob and push open the door. And a stench of copper hits my nostrils. Oh, Lucy, no! I kinda liked Lucy. She was not... Well, she didn't seem like a bad person. She was very polite, to me at least. This is sad. At first, I'm unaware of what I'm seeing. Lucy's lying in her bed, the sun shining through the window and onto her still form. Dust dances in the sunbeams like tiny fairies. The light highlights her hair, her profile. As she lies in the pool of crimson, her hair stained and clumped together, her eyes wide. I see now. I see why Lucy wasn't there. I hear my companion screaming. The scream is echoing behind me. I hear footsteps rushing up. And then the room spins and everything goes dark. God damn! That was pretty intense. I'm sad Lucy's dead. She's pretty alright. Like, she wasn't such a bad person. Maybe she tried her best. I know maybe she was not so nice to Iona, but rules are rules. She seems like the book person by the book. I'm kind of sad that she's dead. Hopefully Iona doesn't die. Anyways, that was really interesting. I quite like that. There are some issues like some run-on sentences and some sentences that had some odd flowing to them. But I'm sure those will be fixed later down the line. Anyways, if you're interested in this, I will provide links down below. The demo is free to play, and you can choose choices that I didn't choose myself. And there's also a Kickstarter that will be coming out November 12th, so if you're interested and want to be notified on that, please take a look at the link down below. Anyways, thank you, and take care.